Google wants 200, baby. You ready to get back to the trading action? You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. Good morning, traders out there. How we doing? It's good to be back with you guys. I'll tell you one thing. It's going to be a fun day. I have a feeling that we're going to get some market moving because I'm even starting to see the bulls start to be a little weary. That will be interesting to talk about. Of course, there's no one better to talk about this than with Michael Knopf. Let's go ahead. Let's bring him on. What's going on, man? Good morning to you. How we doing?
Centered myself there. Doing good. Just got back from a Canada Day parade. Happy Canada Day for all that celebrate.
We gotta hear about it a little bit. I don't know anything about Canada Day, so at least today we're gonna take a little bit of a history lesson. So you're gonna have to tell us a little bit about Canada Day because I don't think we gotta know. We gotta know. It's not as exciting, right?
It's the same as your July 4th, except we just asked nicely. So it's the same thing. It's basically us leaving the
do you guys get
colony or whatever
and do reckless things like Americans?
Absolutely. There's fireworks.
Yeah.
Before legalization, it was nicknamed Cannabis Day because people would just go so heavy that no one would stop them. Right? It was just kind of like you just let it go. So yeah, it's the same parties and barbecues and all that kind of stuff. But the market's open.
Sounds like my kind of people. Sounds like I got to come up to Canada.
Great time to do it too. It's you wouldn't freeze to death up here.
Look forward to it, man. We're gonna be doing some traveling this year. Get ready, guys, because I think Michael Noss and I need to do another New York Stock Exchange tour for Trade the Pool. I think that's what needs to happen. I'm seeing that as a possible future. I'm also seeing a possible future meetup. We got to do some meetups, guys. We want to meet you guys out there. So you guys always smash a like. But I know someone out there that everybody wants to meet. The man with the best mustache on Wall Street. The one, the only. What's going on, Steve? How we doing?
Oh, doing well after a pep talk like that. That's quite regular.
Hey, guys, they don't call me Money Mitch for no reason, right? We'll make it money even if it's not money, baby. Let's go. We're here to have a good day. We're here to see what happens with the market. Of course, the tariff deadline looming out there. What will happen? Will we see a pushback? More mentions yesterday about a possible India deal that I heard mentioned about like a month or two ago. But hey, it's close. It's close. The deals could be coming. That could also keep this all-time highs party going, right? So we're watching out there. There's a couple stocks to talk about. Of course, more fight back from Elon. We won't go too crazy. We'll try to keep it quick there. Of course, Elon fighting back, all about the big, beautiful bill. Hey, what do you guys think about that fight there? I can bring in some quotes, but what are you guys thinking about how Tesla's reacting? And Tesla stock definitely dropping fast this morning and continuing to drop. What do you guys think about that?
I gotta think that if you are a Tesla holder and you've been a Tesla holder for some time, you are immune to this. Like, you know that the insane Elon is just part of the deal at this point. Right? It's like, way back
buy into.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's no one out there who's saying, "Oh man, I'm a Tesla shareholder. I didn't know Elon was eccentric." We'll say is probably the nicest way we can word it. So yeah, I just look at that and say, well, this is what you signed up for, right? If you're going to get the robots and rocket ships into space and all this kind of stuff, you're also going to get like an insane dude who's going to go crazy on Twitter once in a while. So I look at this as I'm actually adding it to my list as we speak as a buying opportunity, because every other time he does something crazy, it ends up being a long-term buying opportunity because you get these initial knee-jerk reaction and then the market just resumes and says, okay, we're looking forward to robots and let's forget about it. But a nice looking setup. You can see here from my kind of indicator that I'm getting closer. We're going to do another test today of fully automating inside the inside Trade the Pool, where I don't have to do anything, just hands off and it trades for me. It looks like a great setup, right? So if it breaks through VWAP here, about 300 and 318 is the 2-day VWAP. That'd be a pretty huge target. And then you're risking 297.
I think it's definitely something to watch because it's going to move, right? I mean, there's going to be comments all throughout the day that we got to watch for. How do you feel about this move, Steve?
So I actually noted I was getting some alerts on Twitter that there were big inflows into TSLQ towards the end of the day. So I'm not surprised to see this move down. I am questioning whether any pop is just another short opportunity. Actually, the way we slice through the 200 like this, I personally would like to take a shot short if it comes back up to, let's call it 313, 314, something like that. Maybe fills the gap completely to 3617. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for more of a longer term swing. For intraday action, I think Michael's dead on. There's probably a good opportunity to mean revert this thing back up. That's a big gap down overnight. And like he said, I mean, it's just Elon doing Elon things at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing out there. And we'll see what happens. Of course, calling the bill utterly insane and destructive over the weekend. And I'm literally saying, cut it all now. So, of course, Trump responding, and you know how he is. He ain't going to stay quiet. So government efficiency Doge to investigate federal subsidies received by Elon Musk companies now is definitely, I think, exactly what he was threatening before this, right? We all know Elon went quiet and made some deleting of tweets and stuff like this. We all know there was a threat. Now will he come after the robo-taxi? That's what I'm worried about, because if he comes after autonomous driving and says, well, maybe we're going to check the regulations a little bit more, or we're going to see if this whole robo-taxi thing should be allowed. Oh, man, get ready, because Tesla would fall fast. So I think that's what all investors are going to be worried about. We'll see how that reacts with stocks out there. To see if there's any mention of things like that, because Trump can do it, right? I mean, all he has to do is make one call, and next thing you know, there's an investigation into robo-taxis. It doesn't even have to actually fulfill the investigation, right? Just the investigation alone would be an ugly, ugly headline for Tesla.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important to note too, right? It doesn't, if you look at it and say, well, I don't think Elon did anything wrong and the investigations won't show anything, it doesn't really matter, because the way the government works is they can tie you up in red tape for years and then go, oh yeah, you were fine, right? They could just go, I know this from
everything turned out safe.
Right.
We did our investigation.
You're perfect, everything's fine. But then 3 years have gone by and you have, Ford and GM and every other car company in the world who's working on EV and fully autonomous vehicles.
Yep.
They're done. They've already leapfrogged you. They're beating you everywhere they can have, and yeah, you get crushed from there. But I don't know. I'm just
don't give Trump's ideas, please.
I'm just in like the nothing ever happens. Like there's like the meme of the guy in the bus, and one's like looking at the cliff all scared, and he's like, "Oh, this news," and then there's the guy who's just looking out into nothing, smiling. It's like the nothing's ever happens, and I'm in that camp where everyone gets worked up, and then nothing ever happens. So I don't know.
I think today's going to be a fun day, though, boys. I think, a lot of, and I even saw it on Trader TV, a little bit of bearishness. I'm feeling it too a little bit. I'm feeling like we can pull back. I don't think it's going to be a monstrous pullback, but could we go through the 615 on the SPY today? I think that could happen. I think that we're going to pull back through all-time highs and at least give a look back here. In my eyes, what would be the craziest look is a big wick that undercuts like the 9 EMA towards like 600, really creates panic, and then you bring it right back through 620.
I'm with you there, Mitch. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I would love to see maybe just honestly, I could see a little bit more upside here, and just this nonstop dip eating that we're seeing, all the bad news just getting eaten up.
Sure.
But I think you're right. I think if we get one nice shakeout, the 9 EMA is a great target. I also see that breakaway gap. It would be nice if we just dipped into that breakaway gap, maybe didn't give people the 600 round number, but something like 602, something like that. Would be really
somewhere
nice.
In that gap, right? It doesn't have, and my thing is just cutting really back below all-time highs. I think, sometimes it's really easy to get above it, but then we got to see if we can use strictly that level as just support, or is it we're going to have a slightly lower level for support?
Mhm.
I don't think any of us is not expecting the dip to be bought either.
Right. And the beauty of this is we can, like, this last 5-year period has had more bear markets in it than any 5-year period in history, right? So we've had more crashes and more bear markets ever. So it's an easy thing to go and look at, right? So this is the 2022, 2023. This one was good, but we can just keep going back, right? Here's the 2020 bear market. Beauty is we don't have to go back too far. This is more or less what I'm expecting. This is a weekly chart now, right? So this is the all-time high break. And then a whole bunch of, you're talking months here of just kind of choppy action before we get off to the races. Here's the 2019 bear market, right? We can highlight this, like 6 months plus of just kind of chop and slop around that level before we get going. There was one in 2016, right? You can just keep going back here. And the same thing, right? Again, weekly chart. So we break the all-time highs, choppy action. Again, I've already done this, so I know, right? We have there's a 2012, but more importantly, I think you zoom out to the 2008 bear market. And this is the kind of thing that if you're like, I'm not a big technical guy when it comes to, patterns and bat patterns and weird setups and whatever, but as technical analysts, we should go look at history, right? And this is one where we had 5-6 weeks of chop, and then we broke out, and then we pulled back, right, in the 2008 one. So yeah, just take a second, go back and say, well, what happens normally when we break a all-time high after a bear market? And quite often, when you break an all-time high after a bear market, you get chop. So yeah, that's exactly what I expect, right? We're gonna have some sort of pullback. Maybe we come in, like you guys were talking about, the gap here, and just chop, anywhere between, say, 600 and like 625 or so. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens for weeks, right?
Yeah. I actually, just to put in perspective, guys, of course, yesterday I was trading Palantir to the downside. Made some really good trades on that, guys. I made a $500 plus trade on the swing account. Now over the 50% of the goal. So of course, check out those swing plans, guys. That's where it's at now, guys, for me, especially because that's where I really like trading, guys. And what I'm trying to do, and I've adjusted it, I'm essentially day trading / swing trading the goal of the eval. Once I get through into the funded, I'm going to treat it completely like more of a swing account where I can really hold these positions. But my goal is just to get to that goal first, right? So for me, like a $500 gain is more than 30% the goal. I'm taking that every time, right?
But the way I look at it is, I think you're doing it right. Right, just to interject, I think you're doing it right now. A lot of people look at it, swing trading account. Okay, I have to hold for days or weeks. Like, no, you don't. The way I look at it is that the swing trading accounts are the day trading accounts without the burden of walls. I have to be out of this by the close. So I look at it just kind of more of like, this is a more freeing experience where I'm going to buy or I'm going to short Palantir, and I'm going to expect it to get to this price. If it takes a minute, an hour, a day, a week, who cares? But it's the same reason why I'm not a big options guy. If I do options, I generally sell them, is because not only do you have to be right on direction, you have to be right on time. Where the swing accounts take that off. You only have to be right on direction. So it's just one less thing that you have to worry about. You can say, I am only now concerned with betting the correct direction. I don't care if that takes a day, a week, a month, or a year. And I think it's a good prep too for what we all know is coming. It's going to be at the end of the year. We're going to start 24-hour markets across the board, in which you're going to enter your trade. You're going to set a stop loss, a profit target, right? Some sort of or automated trailing stop. And time is no longer, there's going to be no such thing as day trading, swing trading. It's just going to be trading.
No.
Right?
Yeah, guys. And I mean, just to keep moving along, we got about 15 minutes before the bell. We're gonna keep it running. Especially, I know we got a lot to talk about. So let's move over now to, did you see the monster? This is why I brought it up quickly, guys. As soon you guys watched me read the news as I was analyzing it, and quickly go buy. Right? Like, I know that sometimes, Michael, you say that no news can make money. This news made money though, man. Because it was there. And it was like, I read it. I hadn't read it in the morning. It just came out. I had just caught it, even late, right? Like 10 minutes later. But to me, it's the key of Tom Lee, right? So people just see the name and it just starts, they just start gravitating to it, right? And so that gravitation is what brought the interest to the name. Then low liquidity in this name gave the ability to, if the buy button was just going to get smashed, yeah, the stock was going to move. And boy, did it move, right? And if you actually realize, the most volume was traded in between the beginning. And I was watching that price action with you guys right here. And what we were seeing? We were seeing the spread go super wide. I was seeing it go like up to like 15, knock down to like 13.50 in less than a second. And then what it was doing, essentially, someone was loading and taking size, right? And the price was coming up, and then they would buy more, and then they would just plummet down again. And it really started getting going. I know there was someone here in the chat that was all over this trade. So shout out to you guys that traded this one. But crazy move, right, guys? And the worst part is the party could not be. It doesn't look like it's over right now.
Yeah, not at all. That's a tight flag there. And I mean, you never want to call the tops of these. The more small cap stocks I watch move on this show, the more I realize, hey, it's a lot safer to assume this flag is going to break up. So yeah, you got the trend line there. You've got that big power stick about what is that, like an hour ago or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's watch that
Finding
area
some heavy
there.
selling through this, right? Because you can see how a lot of, and this is the 15-minute chart, right, that I have, guys. So I'd be a little bit careful above 51, right? Because you keep running into some seller there. There's somebody selling big. Who knows who it is? And it's psychologically near that $50. So it could just be more, like a sell program through that $50. As soon as it gets through that 50, they're like, yeah, please get me out some more because I have a lot of this crap and I want to take my money. But I'd be watching for this puppy all day. This is going to be a mover, right? At the end of the day, if you're looking for a mover, but don't forget, liquidity still really, really low. And what is it doing this morning? Even lower trading. So just be careful. All right, guys. I'll just move us on from that one. I know that we got to talk about Hood. I know you guys probably have some comments on that. So let's go to that stock. Let's talk a little bit about crypto. Let's talk about blockchain. I've been lately bringing in SoFi. SoFi is getting right back into crypto. This could stay hot. This is really hot there. Of course, I brought in Coinbase, and so did Steve, right at the right time. We talked about this bull flag right on the daily chart. It's made an absolute monster move off of that, right? And it's been pushing, guys. It had a 46% push off of that. Now pulled back for 3 days near the 9 EMA. We'll see what happens in coin. What do you guys think about Hood doing tokenization for stocks and more? What are we hearing? Blockchain.
Yeah, just a comment on the tokenization of stocks thing. I think it's amazing. I think it's the future. Like, everything is going to be. Raise your hand if you ever voted on anything that you own shares for, because I have been trading for 20 years. I've never once sent a proxy vote in. So nobody cares. What they want is the exposure to the instrument. So they're starting with the European Union because the EU has weird rules about trading US equities and people want exposure. So it's just a way to, it's kind of like a CFD, which is something that is a contract that gets you the same exposure of the stock anyway. It's the same idea. I think it's great. I think it's another step forward to the 24-hour nature of the market. I should say this before I start bloating because I am very, very long Hood from the 40s. And so I'm really talking my book here, but I think it's an amazing move. It's a way to, they obviously want to expand across markets, but they haven't been able to because there's all of these regulations. So this is their way to kind of skirt the regulations. But in a broad terms, right, this has been a promise since Bitcoin was released that everything would be tokenized and you could trade kind of whatever you want, whenever you want it, wherever you want it. It looks like Robinhood is finally doing the thing. I think it's going to be phenomenal because I would like it the other way. Like, why not, have my brokerage account and I could trade a tokenized version that trades 24/7 of an Indian company or, something in the EU or whatever, because these ADRs are kind of silly because they're only open when that other market is closed or near closed. I would love it if I could just expand again as a systems guy who has robots for it. I don't care what it is I trade. I want to trade everything. So I think this is great. Makes much more sense than the last thing they did, where you could order like $20 to get delivered to your house. That I was critical of because I thought that was kind of dumb. I think this is amazing. You know, I'm a huge fan, but again, I'm talking my book because I'm long this thing a lot.
Yeah, what a mover. Michael, yeah, I'm with you here. It's it's been an absolute powerhouse. This is the first thing I bought on the crash, 35 to 40 range. So I'm right there with you. I rang the register at all-time highs. I just have a tiny runner position, but I don't know if I'm going to get a back test and go look off of all-time highs at this point. It's explosive.
Oh no, yeah. If it gets to there, if it gets back, that's what, like at this point, a 40% almost pullback. If that happens on this name, then something's gone pretty bad for it to get to around $70. Oh, you're looking at that wick. I'm just looking at
the wick.
That $68, $70 area.
Yeah, that area. No, yeah, I don't think it's ever going back to 40s. That'd be nice, but I doubt it.
Yeah, and the only thing that I have to say is, can you get a prettier cup and handle? I mean, holy cannolis, guys. This is as pretty as it gets. I mean, hey, that's what you like to see, guys. If you guys don't know, of course, this is as good as it gets, guys. Like, this is the pattern. Soup. That's the pattern right there, guys. And it's on the breakout, that's for sure.
Yeah. Often good for a double off of those the size of that cup, you know, or
the size,
1.6 fib target, something like that. So man, could scream.
You know, you can use a measurement tool and kind of measure the base there and try to see if it can go double that, right? I mean, it's definitely peaky. Let's just say that much. But we'll see. How far can it go? Another big sign that I've been seeing on a lot of charts is the amount of pure volume that's starting to show up on charts. That's a scary sign for me. To me, that's profit taking.
Yep.
So I've been seeing it on too many charts, AMD included. AMD's on the pullback now. We're seeing a lot of stock charts starting to show those. And Palantir, look at that volume, 200 million, right? So we'll see. This is going to be one that I'll be watching to short again, guys. I might even short it here. It's just it's looking weak here, but we'll keep it going, guys. We'll get close to the open here. It's 9:23. Let's keep it rocking, guys. What are you guys looking out there? What do you guys like? Of course, Apple's one of the hot stocks this morning. I really like that name. I've been talking about it. What do you guys like this morning?
I mean, BMNR is breaking that 50 level right now as we speak, or testing it. So keep an eye on that one there. It's a clean flag. Sure looks like it's going higher to me if it can consume that, you know, those sellers at the 50.
That 51.27 spot, man. It goes to 50.75. It's slowing down a little bit there. We'll see if it can get through there right now in the pre-market. What I'm looking at is on the 5-minute, right? This is a 5-minute pattern for me. Perfect setup there. Trend line break, right? Smaller time frame pattern. This is it right here. You're breaking through that. And what did you get? Nice rule of 3 right off the VWAP there. So really good looking candle now. Now I'd want this to kind of hold the bullish engulfing look as you start to break back through this little range, right? Hold this above like 48.60s now. Look at that drive. Look for a reload at 50. That's what I normally look for. And I'll go to the 1 to look for that, right? Look how it's kind of went through the 50 here and then went back below it, right? That was a good look now. Now it's holding that 50, right? So now you wanted to do that expansion candle away and not come back to the 9. Let's see if it just does it here through the 52 and keeps it rocking and rolling this morning. BMNR. Not a bad way to start the day if you guys are already in on this name. It's rocking and rolling. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool, guys.
All right. Oh, you went fishbowl there for a second.
Oh, the back, StreamYard needs to work on their music player, man, because it makes me a fishbowl, and it ain't me. It ain't on my side, guys. It's on StreamYard's side, but hey.
Yeah, so just some of the names I'm watching. Again, like we mentioned yesterday, we're getting closer. I am the automation guinea pig, because it's kind of just what I do. So I'm playing around with some of that stuff. So if I look a little distracted, that's why. I've got it sending alerts and sending orders, but not stop losses and profit targets, which is kind of the next goal. And it's one of those you can only test when the market's open. So you've got to set everything up and then go from there. But some of the names I'm looking at is APLD, Applied Digital Corporation, just gap down, spending the morning under VWAP like we talked about. Bull, I'm looking to potentially short this. I think it may have already triggered. Yeah, just gapping up today, in sympathy with Robinhood, but again, just the VWAP to VWAP kind of play. Palantir, looking to buy this guy. Spent the whole morning under VWAP. A little bit of sell-off later in the day. Oh, there's a bunch of alerts that just went through, and perfect. I heard some beeps. So they have market orders, so they won't trigger in the pre-market right now, but that's what we're looking for there. At least it tried.
That's what I like to hear. Keep getting after it.
BMNR, looking to potentially short this one on a VWAP breakdown. There's only one blue arrow, and then the rest of the time it's spent above VWAP. This is one of those. Eventually, we know, just like Newsmax and Webull and all of this will collapse. The question is when. So if I take small shots on it for a couple days as it breaks under VWAP, when it finally lets go, I think it'll be worth it. TSLL, just to see if this one, again, like we talked about this morning, if it can break back through VWAP. I just like this as opposed to Tesla. I just, generally speaking, will trade the other one. Then SMCI, right, if it can get through this level here as well. So a couple things we're looking at there just to see if we can make that through, because I don't know what happened to SMCI, but gapping down a little bit here. So the 2-day VWAP's up at 49, and the stop would just be like 48. So it's right. Try to make $1.50, risk 50 cents. I'll try to do that all day long.
Hey man, just to mention a stock I know you keep your eyes on, just came up on my radar. It's on my scanner, my small cap scanner this morning, but looks pretty nice to make a turn. Cybin finally? CYBN?
Earnings? Yeah, earnings. I saw that.
Coming?
Maybe this one's been this CMPS.
I like this setup though.
These have been dogs, but maybe they're starting to recover here. So again, you guys know
I just like the setup. So like I play these names only when the setup is as pretty as it gets.
Well, and I've been looking at this. So PSIL, we had the guy who runs this on the show. Yeah,
we can bring him back.
Psychedelic. But look at this, right? Resistance up here around $15. Just keeps hitting and bouncing. If it gets through that zone, right, through 15, right, 30 isn't.
Look at the weekly. Weekly makes it look 10 times better, guys. I think when you look at these names, weekly patterns make better sense to go off of. You're going to be able to kind of get around the liquidity issue too by looking at the weekly charts and just kind of using those levels, right? Because that gives us like kind of, I'm buying the weekly low and risking below that. I'm cool with that. At least I know where I am on the chart. And to me, Cybin, the best looking chart there. So I personally, when I'm looking at these types of things, I'm not looking for a long-term investment. I'm just trying to take the ride. So I'd be looking at Cybin, but we'll see what happens with that one. Through 9, going to 10, and I could see a run probably pushing towards like 12 or 14. I don't need too much on this. That's like 10, 20%. I'll look to see what happens there in Cybin.
We'll say, don't say that's not too much. That's what most people are looking for in a year, right? And you can get 20%.
Yeah, I get those all the time. We can do those, baby. We can do those. We're gonna start stacking those up, baby. Let's go.
I see the way I look at. So the reason I picked this one is I believe in the tech better, and they're sitting on a bunch of cash, like $300 million, and just nice looking kind of cup and handle. And I like cup and handles. And another thing that's got a really nice looking cup and handle with the Solana breakout yesterday. It's my boy. It's the fart coin.
That's why we have to keep a very close eye on crypto, man, because crypto is definitely on the radar. Everyone watching it. But look at BitO this morning. Not looking good at all, guys. Not looking good at all. So I'm watching out there. We'll see what happens. Let's get after it. Market's opening up. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, so with crypto, with Solana, that's an interesting look, trying to bounce off this zone. Just taking a quick look here at the SPY. right off the open here, down a little bit, not a huge amount, but so far, right off the jump, we're having a little bit of a rally, kind of right off the jump here. So we will see if we can get some sort of a move.
All right, we'll see what happens out there, guys. Stay safe out there.
Michael, yeah, keep an eye on your BMNR there. Might be back testing VWAP pretty shortly, if not right now. That one's bobbing.
Yeah, I have that on the list. The beauty of it is I don't need to at least watch the entries. I just need to watch the exits and set the stops and targets, because that's where we are currently.
Nice.
SMCX, but we'll just look at SMCI did trigger there. So I'll start to show you guys these things, and once I get all this worked out. But yeah, it did trigger a little buy there in
Short
the pre-market
here.
So long that guy with the stop just here at lows. SMCX, I should have looked a little bit more at the liquidity. It's just not nearly as liquid as SMCI. So again, we're just looking to see if so far up pretty good, up $25, and I didn't press a button. So this will be, again, the goal is, and it'll be really cool, I think it'll make a really cool video too, is to pass an eval without hands off, without pushing any buttons. And just full disclosure, if you hear kids screaming in the background, they're not getting beaten. It's just Canada Day, so they're off, and
it's Canada Day, baby.
They are fed and attended to. They're not. We're not torturing them. They just sound like that all the time.
All right, guys. Palantir going down here, looking good here on the first trade, guys. I'll bring you guys in on this, guys. Let's take a look here. Palantir. Let me bring in. There it is. Should be over here. Sorry about not having it ready for you guys. There it is. Sorry, Zoom. We don't need you right now. There it is. Down, guys. Got up above 100 on this, guys. Going to put a stop if we could break the 134.50 here into like 70 or 50 bucks, because I don't want it to come back on me. I'm just trying to cash in on this first trade here. But let's see it. There's 134.50s. It's looking good for the break. I'm just going to keep the stop on break even right now. I'm just about break even, looking for this to drop a little bit further now. Let's see if it can break through the 134.60s and really start to crush down. It broke the support. It could bounce off this 135. So that's where I'm going to look for the reject here, just slightly off this 135, and then rejecting right back through the support would be a nice move there. See what happens on this one. This is a hard trader.
There goes VMNR. Oof, out the top. We can see what happens, and it says it sweeps the all-time highs there, or the 52-week highs.
Cybin breaking from 9 to 950s, guys. So nice move on Cybin to start the day, at least from 890s to 950. So not a bad call right there on Cybin, just to show up on the scanner and then just being like, yep, well, I see it. I'm seeing another penny stock moving out there, CLRO. That one's a nice setup, guys. Nice setup, guys. Nice setup there. All right, good move here on Palantir. I'm moving up there towards the recent resistance, which will be a $40 stop there. There you go. Out on that, man. It's moving all around there. I'm just going to take some money there in Palantir. I think it could come down further, but man, it was chopping all around. I saw so much sizing moving into that. Like 6,000 shares are flowing through that like it's water, guys. Look at the down move now. Of course, those market makers were like, come and get me, come and get me. As soon as I threw that out there, look at the flush down on Palantir. Now they're getting the flush down Palantir. This is why I like Palantir for the short today. I think it just set us on the daily looking really nice for the short down back to 130.
So SPY is giving a VWAP back test here, and it is coming into some resistance in that 616.80-ish area. So
chart me when you get a chance, my friend. Chart me.
All right, let me pull it full screen here. There we go. So we
You're
had
not sharing there, bud. That's
Oh,
the
I'm not
problem.
sharing. Oh no.
you gotta share that. What are you looking at? I'll bring it up while you're doing
Just
that.
spy, just spy going, giving a little VWAP back test there, little cluster of moving averages. Let me pull that up. But yeah, it's essentially the exact same as your chart there. You got the line, it tagged the line coming back. They are finding buyers off of the VWAP for now, so something to keep an eye on there. We have a little bit of an opening range and this 5 minutes forming, so I'll be keeping an eye. I think it's a buy as long as
Don't we
holds.
Can we have Papa Powell? Or is that tomorrow? No,
Papa
he's already been yapping, so he might be done yapping. So that's good. Nothing really. These are all Jolt's job openings, and ISM Manufacturing is both 3-star events. So something to keep an eye on. I know jobs is being a big focus for everyone. Oh, I love that. So you see that, and you guys saw this live, that APLD, the millisecond before I could read it, the millisecond that came up, I heard the beep from Trade the Pool. And
wow,
I like the setup there.
I have to just drag the stop.
I've been watching this one for a while. I'm waiting for a break of 11 for the swing trade, but who knows? I might take a shot here off the lows here for the swing trade.
So yeah, if you look at it, it's kind of the setup we talked about, right? Undercut, and then it's popping right back through VWAP. The target here, I gotta just put these out. So this is going to be the next. I need to do some reading. I need to figure it out, but it's sized correctly as well too. So I'm risking the low of the day. I have this set up for just $50 risk on any given trade. And when I moved the stop to the low of the day, it was the proper amount, which it's not the end of the world having to do that, having the order entered and having to just drag, because you can do it on Trade the Pool super easy. You just drag the stop loss down, you drag the profit target up. But that's not what we're looking for. Ideally, we want full, complete, hands-off automation. Just let it go. But yes, that is a trade. We took my SMCI, SMCX triggered out. So that will be on that account a $50 hit. I'll look to take that again if it triggers. This APLD will be about a 2-to-1. So if it works out, it'll be $100. So again, it's just lots of this. And the idea is I'm developing another 6 strategies currently that all apply to this as well. So eventually I'm hoping like 100 trades a day. We'll just start firing through on both sides. We let the automation go. And then like we always do, we reconcile later in the day. So I go and I journal them all. I tag them based off what setup they came from with TraderView, which is another partner of ours. So there's SMCI, just you can hear the beep. So right in the alert there. Or I heard the beep. I guess you guys can't hear the beep. So you can see right when that arrow happened. I am really impressed by the speed of all of this because it is being done with webhooks. So it's not run locally, which generally most of my bots are. And the reason you run that locally is because, generally speaking, for speed. But this is being done through the interwebs. And yeah, really, really impressed with the speed of those fills. I couldn't be happier.
I'm in here on your APLD trying to break 10 here. I'm willing to do it too. Why? Because I saw the 13,600 shares go through at 996. Someone was willing to step up with that size. I'm willing to do it too. Good trade there by the bot. I'm joining the bot in on the trade. You guys call your own shot.
I cannot describe how excited I am for this, right? And I said this, I remember my first day here. I am not a good trader. I am a good builder of strategies and pontificator and that kind of thing. So I want to
a lot of stocks in the red out there, guys. A lot of stocks in the red. Right? Tesla down 23%, guys. 23%. Wow.
Is that really 20? That's insane.
What's down?
I don't think it's down.
Maybe mine glitched. Mine glitched there for a second. It's down 1.45. I don't know where it went. Oh, 23. Oh, there you go. The net change is 23. There. That's where I saw the 23. I see. My eyes got crossed there. 23.70. It's down 23 points from the open.
Wow. So I did take a long off of my system said we had a support zone right around 1650 and looking pretty decent so far. I'm just slapping a stop right under that wick there. Let me fix the aspect ratio for you. Yeah, so my 1 minute trigger is here, the red. My 5 minute trigger is this orange. I was just looking in this kind of general zone and saying, hey, if it comes back and holds, it's a good chance that it's going to test and flag out here and try to push higher. On the hourly, I'm seeing basically pretty clean flag, a little break this morning, so could get some chop and pop and back test VWAP again. But I only have about a third of the position size I'd like, so we shall see how that one plays.
A lot of shorts out there, guys. I'm seeing so many shorts out there, so I'm going for them. I'm just looking. There's none there doing a VWAP test. They're all just flush. Rigetti flush, Ion Q flush, QBT flush, RCAT flush. Looking around, Archer straight down out the gates, almost 50 cents down. SMR really getting hit hard, guys. I'm looking for these hits in like GEV and CEG. They're starting to happen.
Wow. So BMNR, that one halted after sweeping the highs perfectly, came back all the way back to the opening price, and like clockwork, it is pushing higher, or at least, okay, maybe I jinxed it. I might have killed it right here, but I mean, a lot of bottom wicks. This one's a wild one just to watch. I've been too scared to take anything on it, but I got to watch it.
Yeah, this is one. When I traded, I'll be happy that the risk will be calculated automatically, because this is, and I'm wondering what will happen if it can't trade anything, because there's a non-zero chance that for a $50 risk, there's just not enough shares to trade, and that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Again, this is why I just opened up an eval. The beauty of what we're doing at Trade the Pool is I picked the $25,000 flex. I think it was like $100. And that's the eval I took. And now I get to experiment and play with this bot. And if it blows up and loses all the money, I'm at $100, right? That's a Starbucks order, sadly, in this day and age, right? So you can risk a very, very small amount. In return, if you're right, you can make a bunch. So if I end up getting the account, I expect at least the first account and maybe the first couple to just go just from kind of experimentation. But it's again the beauty of it. You can test your indicators, you can set it up, you can whatever, and then like I always talk about, the evals are kind of paper trading with a kicker, a bonus. If I pass, and I have $25,000, I can continue to trade, and they'll be no different from my standpoint. I'll just go into the Signal Stack backend and I'll just change the account, and it will continue to trade as is, right? So I took a little short here in Weeble. I'll grab this real quick.
Palantir's just flushing, man, after I got out.
And blue arrow alert here. Again, just targeting the 2-day VWAP, stop the high of the day. So again, these are triggering very nicely in both. So I've just got that, and I've got my APLD looking to get a little bit of a target off that. So the system's doing well. The profits are not there yet, but that's not the bot's fault. That's the guy who programmed the bot's fault.
All right, stop placed on that APLD as we're going down there in certain names. So I'm going to just place the stop at break even here. Look to see if it just goes. If it doesn't, I'll leave it alone. CEG short here. Going to take a short on CEG, take a shot. We'll see what happens with that.
You know, Mitch, you were calling all these shorts, and I'm starting to see a little
so many names.
A little bit of something coming together here. I mean, so we have a lot of short pressure on a lot of these high beta names, and you know what's doing amazingly?
What's doing great? Ooh, they had defensive names. It just goes to show you there could be a slight rotation into some defensive names. I'm short some CEG. I'm taking that shot. It's a bigger name. I know it can go when it drops fast. So I'm taking a shot like that.
My buddy Jake Wojcicki is a good buddy of mine. He's a big name trader. He's been pounding the table and telling me about Pepsi, and I completely just ignored him because it was too slow. But looking at that chart that you put up, it's like I really shouldn't have. I was like, okay, man, you trade Pepsi, you have fun. But you think about it too, and if you're leveraging up with options, or even if you're just applying leverage to the underlying position, there's a very slim chance that you're going to wake up one day and Pepsi's down 20%. Right.
Right.
It's also not going to double, but maybe I am kind of
Those options very well could, depending on your expiry, of course. But I love trading options on low IV tickers like Pepsi, Costco, stuff like that. They just move so well. So I mean, when they're ready to go, they do get a nice trend going. And like you're saying, the downside risk is a little less scary. So I love the name in the boomer accounts. I love a little bit of options in the fun accounts. So this volume shouldn't be ignored here. This base break volume here.
Wow, seeing so many names just drop there, and I'm also seeing some names kind of move out there. Just be careful out there, guys. That CLRO is halted on the way down now.
The BM, let me show this is BMNR. The blue arrow triggered the moment it halted, so I did not get a fill there. It sucks.
Oh, where she goes.
Yeah, so that's going to be the trade. The target is all the way down here at $24, right? And your target or your stop is $10 away. So it should have taken 5 shares. But yeah, I don't see the order come through or anything, and I didn't hear the beep just because it's like, man, it's halted, right? So it's not going to send an order on a halted stock. So unfortunately, it like it always works, the ones that you miss are going to be the best ones out there. It's the nature of trading. If you get filled less than you want it to, or you miss the trade, it's the best trade that you could ever take. Qs, I just noticed, just did a little undercut and rally there, trying to get back through VWAP and hold through VWAP. So nowhere near the pre-market low. We couldn't even get that low. And remember, we do have in 13 minutes here, ISM, manufacturing PMI, and JOLTS job openings. And TradingView is ranking both those at 3 stars. They're not going to be like FOMC big or anything like that, but they could move the market a bit. So just be a little bit wary, be a little bit careful of
all right, guys. This APLD trade looking well for you, Michael. I'm in it too. I'm in the swing. I actually added. Just wanted to let you guys know about that. Now 10:15. I got 500 from 10:02.
Very nice.
APLD. So the 2-day VWAP is sitting at 10.25. So that is my current target for that. I know you're going a little bit longer because you're looking for a swing, but just for the day trade, that's the 2-day VWAP. So I've got.
What's yours? Because I'm willing to take that one too. I like the target.
10.25 is the 2-day VWAP.
Okay, so that just looks good on this rip. On the rip, right? I'll sell some on the rip.
And we have SPY breaking out of this consolidation. You pulled up Qs a second ago, and I just wanted to note that SPY is looking significantly stronger. So that's something to keep an eye on for sure. For me,
finance has been just on fire. Like the XLF has just been XLF and XLI industrials, which is good. Right. Those make me feel better because it's like, okay, the guys building stuff and the guys funding the guys building stuff are doing well. So it's not just like a weird AI rally type thing. It means that there's like underlying demand in the big names out there, right?
Yeah. When you see industrials and banking popping and leading the way, like that's not what you see at the end of a big rally usually. Right. That's very healthy for the market. And like you're talking about broad based, it's not just people playing catch up or whatever. This is like significant buying power and shows significant resilience in if not the economy, the market, So what else can you say besides keep trading it until it doesn't work?
Yeah, when you get the builders going, then at least people believe everything is happening.
Right. All right, and guys. Speaking of which, BLDR is an interesting one that I have been keeping an eye on. It's flagging pretty nicely here, building out a base. I think it might be ready to go pretty soon. So I'm keeping an eye on this one for a swing trade.
I like it.
Yeah, builders, exactly.
Yeah, builders. Yeah, I know it. It's a good name. It's a good swing vehicle. I like it.
Yeah.
I'll at least support the way the action of the stock goes, and sometimes that's what you want, like a stock that has a tendency of trending, right? Because that's what you're trying to do in a swing trade, right? If it's just a pure chop mess on the daily, you don't want to be trading that thing, man. You want things that have like long-term trend lines, and if you look at the weekly and BLDR, that tell you it right there.
Yeah, and I always just look at it and say, hey, man, we're hitting all-time highs. So many stocks are hitting all-time highs. A lot of stocks hit all-time highs before the market did, right? Yeah. Well, I'm not trading something that's at lows right now, right? I just don't think it's something I'm super interested in. Now, you know, you could look at this as maybe a wedge breakout or something like that and wait for it to break out. That's fine. It's just with the market being so clean and every stock I see being so clean, I'm just not interested in looking at things that I think are going to be annoying. And I just look at this and I say, it's probably going to be annoying. I'd rather do a hood or a coin or a, you know, something like that.
What about bull on that 11 break yesterday?
Wow,
I've been talking about that level, man. It broke that level yesterday, and it was riding high. Looks good today. It's recovering the 15-minute support. Now it's starting to get stronger back above VWAP. Oh, and here's APLD, guys. We're getting towards your target, man.
I just got filled. I got filled on my exit there. So that was my first. No, I won't say. Yeah, I was going to say fully automated trade, but I had to set out the profit target there. So,
all right, my stop's placed on the pullback just in case to take the profits there. It's my key is I'm starting to really move closer towards the goal, and when I have fast money, I'm just going to take it off.
Yeah, I love that.
So I'll put a stop loss right behind the action right now. If it wants to keep going, let it move.
That's what I told my bottom fishing friend, says Josh. My favorite saying is, right, those who pick bottoms end up with stinky fingers.
I don't think that's I don't believe that. I'll tell you that, guys. I catch bottoms all the time. It's just more about looking leader to laggard style and sectors to industries. Now, if you're just picking a bottom based off a technical level, I think you're doing it wrong. Of course, I mix the variables, and I feel like that's why I have more probability of finding the success. I need to see that the company's been doing well. It's a good catalyst. So it needs to be on retail's watch too, because if it's not on retail's watch, I don't want it either. But I've caught so many bottoms, man. I can tell you guys, I've caught so many like 20, 30% runners that way. The key is just the right stock at the right time. And it's always about themes and it getting hot, right? So right now I've seen more talk about lithium. Watch for lithium in the next couple of months.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to note the difference between knife catching and buying like in the bottom of a base. Because knife catching, it doesn't go well historically. You run that enough times and you will get murdered. But the fake breakdown is my favorite setup ever. You know, that sweep of liquidity underneath, the reclaim of a key level, and then the long. And, you know, as some of our friends of the show, I would say, you know, you buy that through back through the VWAP or back through whatever your level is there. And that provides a nice framing of the trade. You know where the liquidity was swept. You know it shouldn't go back down there again. You know you're at the bottom of a range and you have room to the upside. So yeah, I mean I'm with you, Mitch, and I think you're probably talking more about that than just hammering that by, you know.
Like there's nothing wrong with it, you know, around a bottom or even right some sort of base to buy from the bottom. When most people refer to bottom picking, they're just like, right, the stock's in a downtrend. You just go, I'm just going to buy it here, right?
Yeah. It seems cheap. Oh, it can get cheaper, brother. It can always get cheaper.
That's a downtrend. So I just got triggered in this TSLL. You can see the green arrow happened right here. So stop at low of the day, targeting the 2-day VWAP, rinse and repeat. Also got TQQQ for the same setup, but the 2-day VWAP's just right up ahead, right? So I bought right here, and I'm literally going to just be selling if we take one more pop up. Just a quick little shot there. The idea is just to start taking all of these things, documenting all these things.
I like it.
And then going from there, right? Some small trades, some big trades, positive, positive and negative, risk reward, don't really care. Just fully systematized across everything. And again, this is one of the setups that I'm looking at, and I'm testing 6 more. So the amount of trades I will put through a day, we're gonna have to find some way to kind of show the people, because it's gonna be wild. I'm super excited. Again, it's how I trade in the real world as well, right? I'll take, even for swing trades, I'll take 10 a week and then just be fine with it. There goes Tesla. Nice little rally here.
Yeah, you've seen some bounces back to VWAPs now, so you'll get some opportunities out there, guys. Just be careful. I'm actually trying to get out of my CEG. It's going to hit 318 a little bit above here, I feel like, and I just don't want to be in the risk for a spike there too far up. And so I'm going to look to re-enter it. I'll take the hit for now, reassess there, took a 116 hit after taking a $42 gain on Palantir. Definitely played Palantir wrong out the gates today, guys. It was a flush to 133. So with the size that I had, that's easily a $200 or $300 gainer. I just kind of ran to the cash a little too quick. APLD though cashed out on that, guys, in the swing trade, guys. Cashed out at 1023 with 500 shares from
Nice.
1007, I think, around there. So it's a little bit $104 gain there in the swing account. Now up to almost 11,000 in that account. Of course, the goal is 11.5. So getting closer, guys.
And look right where it paused, right? So VWAP to VWAP, and then it hit that
10.90
1025, and now it's like, right, hit that and just consolidating at VWAP. Good breakthrough there later, but it's just wild that it hit just right to that VWAP. So that was where my profit target was as well. So I'm just fully out of that.
I'm going to look to probably day trade this if it can come back to the $10 spot here. Not swing traded here, just more looking for liquidity search, looking for big volume to come in right now, flush some traders out, and then I'm willing to jump in again. Palantir still looks weak there.
Yeah, SPY got the nice push up there. It basically reached up to, did it tag yesterday's close? Let me check. So that's what I was kind of looking for. I may have missed my exit there a little bit, but I mean, the strength is notable, and you were noting a lot of bottoms being put in on other stocks. So I'm gonna swing around the market here, around my watch lists, and see if I can get a read on this. This is an area where I like generally jumping out and kind of waiting for things to settle and choose a direction. You know, we kind of did the easy move to surge up to the close, get all those buyers out that were, buying in today, and woke up to red.
Well, and 3-minute warning too, right? We've got, again, none of these numbers I think are hugely impactful on their own, but look how many of them there are, right? These ones here that have full bars, according to TradingView, are at least a little bit market moving. And then we've got just a bunch of those. Yeah. So PMI can be a pretty big one, but we just have like 5 different numbers coming out. So I expect a little bit of chop, or at the very least, like we always talk about, I know a lot of people who program bots. I do it myself. And quite often what they'll do is they'll just set them up at a certain time of day. They'll say, okay, right, PMI is out at 9. So at 9:15 or so, start the bot, take your trades after that. Just sit out the crazy noise, the crazy chop that happens sometimes before these markets. And that's before these numbers. That's what we're seeing, right? We had a little bit of a down flush. Now we have a little bit of an up flush. The question is, right, we've broken the opening range to the downside, and we've broken the opening range to the upside. Do we just continue to expand this range down? Maybe test the low of the pre-market or something like that. But when you have that many numbers, that again, not huge, not FOMC huge, but when you have that many numbers coming in,
you short a little bit of core weave.
Everything's a little choppy until then.
Yeah,
short a little core weave on the day trade.
Taka is making a good point here as well. Gold is popping. So we have Pepsi running. We have gold looking like it wants to push here on the daily. It's potentially trying to break out of a little flag action. So this is something I'm looking for. Sentiment shift into risk off into this data here. I mean, maybe it's just for a little pullback day trade, but I'm kind of starting to sense, and I'm usually a little early, I'm kind of starting to sense that a pullback might be due pretty soon.
We're up
something next week.
6 days in a row. Currently down today, but just look at I look at the higher lows, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at some point we have to break the low of the day before just a little bit. Right? It's just, we've now ripped what is like 35% or something at 30% to highs. 5-10% pullback I think is healthy, and it needs to happen at some point. I'm not going to be the one shorting up here, that's for sure. It's just not my style. But yeah, when you rip 30%, you have to deal with that overbought condition somehow. And again, dealing with an overbought condition can happen in 2 ways. One is sideways consolidation, the other is a pullback. One of those things I think has to happen. But we've got 1 minute till the number, so let's just kind of zoom in here to the SPY and just see what, if any, the impact is. And then I think from there we have after that we'll have the decision will be made, and finally maybe we'll start trending in one direction or another.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I'm taking a short on CoreWeave, guys. I'm short here. This is just a VWAP fade look, like the daily chart. One of the things I'm starting to see is some of these big momentum names starting to fall off, like AEVA today, finally dropping fast. I couldn't even catch up to it. I tried to catch it on the drop. It's just too fast.
Number is out. You can see that was crazy. So just bottoming tail all the way down to 619 or 617, 616.90, and then from then it's been a little bit of an up move. So pretty wild looking two range candle or wide range candle here. So let's see what
Palantir still fading, guys. Still fading. I'm seeing these momentum names fading. That's one thing I am seeing.
Remember, it's always the 17th near jerk reaction that we're looking for. And then when that's done, we can finally take a trade. But yeah, right off the bat, you definitely had some bots there firing off one way or another. You know, you had a bot trying to rip it. We have a bot trying to tank it. So I'm just going to give it a minute, 2 minutes here. Wait till that, and then maybe we pick a direction after that. But yeah, all these numbers came through, and now we have nothing but RMC TIPP economic optimism, which isn't the I've never heard of that before, so I don't think anyone will care.
Yeah, seeing a lot of down action out there, guys. What I'm going to look for is also, again, for the flush down in the nuclear trade. I'm seeing it already starting to, that happened this morning. Let's see if it flushes again. SMR is a good example.
Yeah, this for such a volatile industry to have this SMR and OKLO and all that just doing nothing for so long is crazy, right? These things are usually crashing or rallying. They're usually not spending 2-3 weeks stuck inside of an overall range.
Yeah, this thing dropped fast today, guys. So traders that were swing trading on this thing off the 9 yesterday that had a nice candle just got caught. I'll tell you that right now. They got caught. So I usually use moments like that. When people get caught, that means there's money to be made. They're on the wrong side and they're watching the downside wick there. Look at the 15-minute candle and how it's not barely bouncing. That's a good sign if you're short. Bad sign if you're long yesterday. So we'll see what happens there on SMR. If it can recover back 38, it'll start looking better, but it's barely bouncing here. Palantir, new low, 132s. So annoyed at my opening short, guys. I nailed it. You know what happened there? I was fighting between doing it in the swing account or the day trade account. And then that slight conflict within my mind kind of just started to interrupt my focus on execution there. Because I didn't know which one to open it. I thought it could all day flush, but then I got also excited about using the buying power of the day trade, right? So just to kind of give you guys perspective.
Yeah, Palantir will be interesting if it hits this low, right? This is the low of that kind of Friday rebound.
That's what I was targeting. That's what I was targeting. I think it's a perfect target to go for if you're short. I
could see kind of an undercut and then a rip back through that that price. I'm no longer in Palantir, so we had a new month, and the way my investment systems work is every month there's a rotation. So rotated out of Palantir and into Apple of all things. So as of that's nice. As of today's open, this price right here, I'm long Apple, and then next month it'll be the same thing. So 10 different names, right? I just every month rotate into. Ends up being a really good strategy overall, just to stay invested in the market. Again, these aren't trades; these are investments. A lot of the big ones we know. I think I'm still in. I know out of Netflix as well, and into Meta.
I like that too. But I love the Apple trade. It's just so seasonally bullish in July, and that's got that nice consolidation base pushing out of it. I was actually short Apple as part of a pair trade with Google, which did a whole lot of nothing for the month I've held it, more or less. But I just cut the short side, honestly, and I should have just flipped long. I was hoping for a little bit of a pullback into that gap, but strong move. You gotta love it. I think you're dead on with that trend line. I think that there's also that gap target that'll coincide with that nicely. So that confluence of 220, that's my target there. But I think I think it could rip to 250 pretty quick, honestly. So,
oh man, yeah. As a let's face it, Siri is bad. Yes, I'm a
yes.
big Apple fanboy. I've got like on my desk, I've got the AirPods, I've got the MacBook, I've got the iPad, I've got the iPhone. Siri is so dumb. When you're like holding a baby and you're like asking a question, it's like if you ask again from your iPhone, because I've got all the speakers all over the house, and I'm gonna like, yeah, that's what they got to fix, right? I want them to buy a Perplexity or Anthropic or something.
Yeah, I think that'd be
just,
amazing.
You know, run my life that way.
Perplexity, it seems like wait, Perplexity is Google's, right?
No, that's Gemini. Perplexity is its own company. That's why people are looking at it, because it's a relatively small company compared to like an OpenAI or you know, obviously Google with Gemini or something like that. But yeah, the idea is that there's been this rumor that potentially they just buy it and they make that part of the Apple ecosystem thing there.
Gotcha. Do you think there's a chance that they buy what's Anthropic's Claude? Is that
Claude? Yeah, I think Claude's bigger. I think Perplexity is like the smallest of the bunch, and Perplexity is more focused on search, whereas Claude is more focused on dev stuff. They could, you know, it certainly wouldn't surprise me, but yeah, they certainly could.
Those are the two that I use most myself. So it'd be interesting and cool. I would love that to see that integrated more deeply with the Apple ecosystem. Because like you, I wouldn't call myself a fanboy, but man, I mean, Apple stuff just works, you know. It's really nice, except for Siri. That drives me insane on a regular basis.
So late to that game.
Seeing so much downside looking good. That's when you know the inner bear in me right now is just like
You've been watching The Bear season 3 and it's getting to you, huh?
Oh, you have no idea.
So yeah, the SPY has just yet to. We've been down 0.08% for like the entire day. Like
it's also for me, like I'll show you guys what it is for me too. It's my watch list. It's just bleeding. It's bleeding bad today.
There's a lot of red, yeah.
There's a lot of like the market should be down further and it's not. So that tells me watch out for the down because it could come fast.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting to me when I saw my watch list,
man. A lot of bleeding.
Here are the things that seem to be holding up the market: UNH, Apple,
UNH, defensive name, right? You can see it here. This is why I always try to do this, right? So the interesting one is cyclical staying strong. So that's what I would look at. But what is it? It's department stores. Like I talked about, Nike changed the consumer sentiment. So watch for that to be actually a strong area that can keep the market up where you see rotation go to. So I talked about ANF being on my radar. Look at the action you're seeing today. It's breaking this 85. It can go back to that earnings move, which would be a move to 105. This is a good move to look for today. If you're looking for bullish action, right? You're still a bull. You're saying forget the down move. Well, I'd be looking at this move and Nike leading the pack, right? Nike's the one that led this move. It could keep this move going. Look at Nike today. Boom. This is consumer sentiment changing in the action, right? As you get to all-time highs, people will say, well, the consumer's still spending. We see it, right? These stocks are making money. So watch for that action to continue. Not bad, not bad. I'm getting run over a little bit here in CoreWeave. I'm going to go kind of manage it here off the look, but it's all about not recovering 162. Right. So it could still fade on this 9 EMA. I'm just looking for the fade right back down, but it's going to all depend on the Qs too. Do we get this quick wipeout in the Qs? The Qs are dragging a little bit more than the SPY today. Why? Because we're seeing that defensive rotation that Steve's mentioning, right? So I think that's what you got to look for there as we're seeing that rotation. And UNH is not a bad one to look for. Definitely now has made that hardcore bottom at 300. What do we see there? 1, 2, 3, and a wick on the fourth. A wick on the fourth, Steve.
Yes,
you know what I say? Tricks are for kids, man.
Yeah, UNH. It proved me wrong. I was not a bull, and I've been proved wrong. It seems like it's ready to push. I think Tuck's dead on the money. That 340 handle looking good.
Yeah, you can still jump on this, right, guys? Because I don't think you're too far off. The key, you got to expand your range and how you're going to play this, right? As it gets through 320, you can start looking for either pullbacks or looking for that gap to fill, right? That's
Yep.
377, right? That's what we're ways away. They're at 60 points. You can risk 10 points for 60, right?
Well,
So you got to adjust a little bit here, but I like to play.
Mitch, is that a squat I'm seeing?
That's a squat as it gets, man. That's a squat before it goes, baby. Oh,
Yeah.
SQQQ gaining volume here, guys. I'm gonna go for a little scalp here.
I like
Little
that.
scalp action here on the swing account.
I'm gonna join you on that. I like that.
Just gonna
keep
go
an
for
eye on this.
just a little, like it put a power bar there, and I'm just gonna risk literally $15 to put perspective of how quickly I think this action should happen through the 20 on the SQQQ. So the SQQQ is right here. You see this 15-minute. You see how there's wicks down there. Wicks are for trick. Wicks are for kids. Tricks are for kids. Guys, look at that line. Now I'm looking for that 75 to hold and the volume to come in here and push to 20 fast. Push to 20 fast is what I'm looking for. We'll see if we get it.
That's such a nice setup too. When you have a gap down, it trades back in, fills the gap. You get a catalyst.
Another setup I'm looking at, guys. Flushing of UMAC to 750s. I'm going to take it here a little bit. I'm willing to add a little bit at 810s, but taking it there, guys, and let's go. I'm taking some shots. And sometimes it's about taking shots. Your boy's stepping on the gas pedal today. How it turns out, only one way. Find out right here. Trade the pool. Let's go, guys. What you guys seeing out there? There's RCAT flushing too. So
BM.
And you got it? You got it, my friend?
Yeah. So that blue arrow right there. Like the trade was sent, right? Stop the high of the day, targeting 2-day VWAP, which would be huge, right? That's like $25. That'd be a pretty big
I like it.
Just take the trade.
It's brave.
And then Weeble. You can see the trigger happen there. This is the exit, so it'd just be a quick little scalp. That's about a 1-to-1 risk reward. So, as I continue to build these out, once stop losses and profit targets are working correctly, then it will be skip it if it's less than a 1-to-1 risk reward, right? Just tweaking and programmatically kind of playing from there. But watching the market looked a little bit fishy there for a second, and then a nice rally back up through. So we just can't get under VWAP for now anyway. So we have to watch that. Just to show you guys here, I can go through and look at this. These are, it's really cool to see, and show you guys all this. I have not hit a single button to get all of these trades in the system. So, and this is nothing compared to the, compared to what I'm planning on doing. Once I can get everything kind of sorted and the stops and the targets, all that kind of stuff sorted. So you can see just as I took that screenshot, this SMCI came in off the bat. So again, this is a eval account that I've set up, and I am not going to take a single trade in this eval account. It will all just be purely robotic. Right now I'm putting out the stops and the targets. I'm trying very hard to keep my hands off the wheel here, but just really cool to see. It's fun. I very much enjoy this part of trading.
Ooh, looks good, bro. Looks good there. Ooh, I got triggered out of my SQQQ there. I already knew where my stop was, so we'll see where that happens on that one. It's a $15 loss. I'm not worried. But your BMNR just dropped like a tank, and I saw some selling come in there really quickly. Looking good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for the indices, I actually just shorted SPY. I didn't short Qs. I just took a little bit off of VWAP and got stopped out. But the rest, I'm down. I'm basically flat. So whole lot of nothing going on here for me today, but that's okay.
Yeah, I am realized, just again playing with the bot, I'm down 80. Unrealized, I'm up 80. So it's just a net even day. But this is, and what you'll notice as I take people on this journey of kind of systematic trading, quite often for a lot of these systematic day trading, this is how it happens, in which you are because you're buying and you're selling and you're long and you're short all the time, you end up getting to the point where losers are getting stopped out frequently, and then winners are holding on. So you generally draw down realized, and then unrealized on the good days you end up making way up for that, because the plan is to hold all these till target or the close. So there could be a world in which I'm short that BMRN all day long and it closes up I'm risking $50 on it, so it closes up $200-300 and wipes it. So you never know which of the ones are going to work for you. So that's why you end up just kind of taking everything, as many trades as you possibly can. Again, the goal is, when you're a systematic trader, is to always max out your buying power. If you have any buying power left, that means you have unexplored edge, is the way I look at it. And you got to look at it a little different. We talk about over trading and things like that. That is only a problem for discretionary people, right?
Michael,
For me, if I have an
term.
edge, I want to exploit it.
I love unexplored edge. That's what I'm gonna tell my friends when I'm way over leveraged. It's no, I still have $50 buying power. I have unexplored edge here, boys.
If I am in cash at all,
strong, gap pushing strong.
Q's just broke pretty handily. Broke today's high. Nice little rally. So we did two kind of undercuts. So shorts, and now we're back through. We're struggling with the 2-day view app. So that screenshot I showed you had that TQQQ position. That should be exiting here in a second. I have the target right here. That was just a 1-to-1, so it was risk 50 to make 50, right? And
nice.
The beauty of it is that the other benefit of systematic trading like this is there's no like fear of trading bigger or anything like that. It's simply a number and a line item. I determine what risk I can get away with the allowable stop loss I have per day. And then I just slowly kind of eke up to that maximum limit and then stop there and then go from there. So there's no, what do I risk per trade? There's no, oh, I lost on that trade, I'm feeling bad. There's no, I'm feeling good about the market or feeling bad. It's just, do I have edge? Yes, take every trade that you possibly can to make sure I'm staying inside of that daily stop out limit, and then hope at
Mara and Clean
week,
Spark
month,
leading the drive. Look for the Bitcoin reversal with this move that's getting a reversal. So
rallying here.
Look at Mara and
doing.
Clean Spark leading the rally there, guys. So those are stocks that are pushing strong. If you're looking for the rebound, that's areas to look at.
Keep an eye on MicroStrategy too, or sorry, strategy. Going forward in this week, there's been a lot of flow. I think that the chart is really pretty to me. But the biggest thing to me is that MicroStrategy is starting to strongly outperform Bitcoin in the past couple of days. Let me double check and make sure that's the case today as well. Okay, well, a little bit of weakness today versus Bitcoin, but we got a big thrust up yesterday. So I'm keeping a very close eye on this. I am in already. I'm in MSTU from 790, I think.
Double leverage Ponzi scheme. Get after
it. Michael, that's how you make money in this market. Speaking of grifty plays, York U is very interesting to me. Yorkville Acquisition Corporation. It is a SPAC that is it's a blank check company, that is essentially it's a David Nunez thing. I'm not sure exactly how he's involved with it, but I know he is involved, and he is the CEO of DJT. So DJT's dropping. He gets a new pet project here. It's up big in 2 days. Yeah, might do a CEP, the Lutnick Sons one. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I have a small position from just under 11, and I think crime is in, boys. I think it's crime season.
It's been this whole year, man.
So asking about how to use bots, we're not there yet. I am playing with this and tweaking it, and then I will make some videos and they'll go up on the website. So just so we know, I know I'm getting excited and I'm teasing it because I heard in a meeting that we're going to be releasing in about a month. So, stay tuned here while I build it out and make sure everything's good. And then I'll be doing some training internally and then doing some training for you guys. So we are not quite there yet, but we are working on just to show you guys what's in the pipe. That's one thing that you guys get as viewers of the stream, is we'll kind of show you guys the direction where we're going to do it and go from there. So yes, it will be, I got to figure it out first and then we'll go from there. So I'm about half of the way there. I figure if I get the entries down, that's got to be the easy part. Then the stops and the profit target has got to happen after that fairly soon. So, and by me, I mean, I'm just yelling at ChatGPT all the time. I built a custom GPT for Signal Stack. I fed it all the documentation and had it learn off of that. And then I'm kind of using that to build. So
All
How's
right,
that?
we'll see what happens in the next 10 to 15 minutes. We're getting towards 10:30. Will we see a flip there? We'll find out.
I got a hungry and loud cat here. I'm gonna feed her real quick and be back in 3 minutes.
Meow.
If you have multiple cats, just feed one cat to the other. Problem solved.
That's very efficient, Michael. I'll see
Yeah.
how that goes over.
Meow. All right, what's going on, guys? How we doing out there? Smash the like. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. Let's go out there.
Buy is through the post
Stopped
market.
out at CoreWeave. Big loss there, guys. But I'm still going for some shorts. I got shorts on in Pony and UMAC.
So yeah, we got tried to break through that pre-market high, pulling back just a little bit. Just going to watch VWAP. We haven't been able to do a 2-minute candle close. Other, I guess this guy below VWAP all day. So just showing that there is that kind of buyers in that space. Right, my TSLL is working nicely. I'm in that one again. It's 123 is the target there. Or 1123 for the TSLL as opposed to the TSLA. Just looking to undercut that VWAP just a little bit. If we can get another couple rallies through there. Overall choppy day. So I am okay being flat because the market's not really doing anything, right? We just ticked up positive on RSP. So this shows that the average stock in the market's higher. But because big tech isn't leading this charge, we have the SPY down a little bit. So RSP is a great way to know what's the average stock doing. So RSP, again, for those who don't know, I've done this rant before, I know, is the equal weighted version of the S&P 500. So all the same names that are in the S&P 500 are in the RSP. But instead of weighting it based off of the larger company makes more of an effect, this says, we treat all companies equally. So the fact that this has been grinding higher all day, breaking out of this shelf right here is showing that this isn't big cap tech is actually holding us down today. And that's what's making it a little bit harder for this to get positive there. And it also shows, right, the Dow being positive and the Qs being negative. Just showing the everyman stock is doing very well. Your big cap tech guys are the ones that are holding us back.
And then why would that be? MSTR down big today too. That's interesting with the Bitcoin going up. Mara and CleanSpark were just straight 1 minute rides up. The whole opening gates there, 4% up, both of them. Hood up, now starting to turn a little bit. And so is Coin, but they've been strong out the gates. I'd keep an eye out on those. APLD kind of holding in there. I'm looking for a pullback to 10 to see if it's holding. It's like holding right around the 50 moving average on the 1 minute. So could just get some rebuyers here. It's not looking too bad there. APLD to see if it hangs on there and just continues the momentum. I'm in on Pony, short, pretty big there. I just like that setup there. Pony, Pony AI. This just looks like a stock that had its day in the sun and now is just coming right back down. Right. So we'll see what happens with this, but definitely if it breaks 12 today, I think it could keep going further than that. And it was just recently down to 1150s and further. So looking for this to flush today. There's the Qs coming down a little bit there.
Yeah. So we'll see if it can tag, if it can finally get anywhere near the pre-market lows. Buying looks like it might be coming in here again. It's just wild to see every time we hit this 82 area, just kind of buy programs are hitting over and over again. Are they finally done? Don't know. We'll find out, right? Got to wait a little bit to see if we can hold under this level for any period of time. Looks like another wick is getting bought in here. It's interesting to see the SPY not really participating too much in the down move. So again, showing us again, it is solely kind of big cap tech that's weighing us down. The rest of the market wants to go. And again, we can see that with the RSP, right? The equal weight SP 500 continues just to grind to new highs over and over and over again.
All right, we'll see what happens here. Will we get some down action actually to play in there?
Got to at some point. At some point, we need to break the low of a prior day. We still did we do that? No, still haven't been able to do that on the Q. So at some point, there needs to be a down day. We're like 7 days in a row with higher highs all the way up. So at some point we need to take some sort of a down move. We're just
Look
not
at
seeing it.
AEVA. This is what's telling me, guys. So a lot of times I look for signs. This is it. The AEVA breakdown is nasty today. It's down a pretty good amount. I mean, it's down 23% from the open, or close to 23%. So SMR is still not bouncing back. Archer not bouncing back. QUBTS setting up for a short if it really goes ugly here off that 15 rejection. A lot of people are looking for QUBTS to play into the daily flag. That could actually pull back here, but it's still in the flag. It broke out of it and it's trying to make a move, a recovery of 15. There's CoreWeave getting hit some further there, guys. So CoreWeave now coming down. It rejected that 162 and it just got me, guys, as I didn't give myself enough room to that 162, but it's doing really well now. It's coming down fast.
Yeah, quiet day. I expected with JPOW going on that there'd be something happening, but right, the SPY continues to pull back, hits the 1 and 2 day VWAP there, bounces again. Same with the Qs. Right, pull back, bouncing there again. Yeah, I expected something to happen today. It's just not so much yet.
Swing short CoreWeave, guys, but I just need some type of bounce there. Trying to get a bounce closer to 160, 159, 70s. But I might have to jump here if I want it. We'll see what happens. Doing really good on that pony short, man. That thing's just floating down, and I'm just trying to let it go.
Yeah, the Qs are breaking down a little bit here. We can bring back our buddy Steve back from making cats fight to the death.
Sorry, Steve. I left you in the dust.
It's okay. Mr. Whiskers won the battle royale.
Good.
So.
Okay.
A lot of down action coming in here now. Oh, good Lord. And I look at CEG that I was trading earlier that I took a loss, and I'm just not giving myself the space, boys. That went down to 310. I'm trading good names and not making money here, guys. This is where it's like, I got to just slow it down because I'm doing great on the looks. Palantir, CEG, really good looks there. Look at Palantir now, 130.91. So, I went for the right stocks. I just didn't nail it. And I'm trying to bounce back with Pony. Pony might get me back just itself. This is looking good. I'm almost up 400 on Pony. So let's go.
There we go. Time to lock in. We have SPY backtesting VWAP for the third time, looking a little bit heavy. Looking a little bit heavy.
Moving fast, guys. Meta dropping fast. Big boys dropping fast. I'm playing some of this action. Let's go.
The market is heading for the lifeboats like BMNR, apparently. Coming for Michael.
I know. I'm looking down. It's like my shorts, my Tesla's doing well. My Weeble short's doing well. And then this thing.
And there's this thing. Yeah.
And there's this thing.
That's a wild mover for sure.
Well, and the beauty of it is I've got 10 shares, right? So the stop's at the high of the day. It's risking like $5 a share, right? And one of the massive benefits of systematic trading is, right, every risk is getting calculated every single time, right? I don't need to think about it. It's here's your risk per trade. Have a good one, right? It will take 1 share. It will take 1,000 shares. I don't need to do that calculation.
Short QBTS, SQQQ trying to jump to 20s. We're looking really good here. I'm taking the swing trade on the short on QBTS. I know a lot of traders were watching it on the long, so they might be caught. Nice short on AMD, says Derek. That's how you do it. Look for the trend reversals. You're seeing them out there. AMD was already breaking down yesterday, continuing the breakdown today. And now we're really starting to see some altitude drop in that nuclear trade. Look at GEV. This is why I talked about it early, guys. I try to give you guys the theme so that you can go looking into the stocks and make your calls. Look at that GEV turn from 530 today to 510 in a pretty fast manner. So I think this is really showing you what trend reversals, profit taking. I showed you guys about the volume a couple of days ago. I'm seeing the profit taking moment here. Now it's more about, do you feel rotations on? Palantir tells me it all. That's continuing to flush down there. I'm looking for more and more ways to short the market here.
Yeah, almost to Friday's low. on that GEV. Almost, not quite, but almost to Friday's low there on that guy. Right, SPY almost to yesterday's low, maybe. Right, still above. I'm marking yesterday's low by this purple line right here, so still has a little bit to go. Qs below yesterday's low or below Monday's low, sorry, but way huge from Friday's low. So Qs definitely relatively weak. We're showing that the big cap tech name guys are weighing us down, right? If we look again at the RSP, which gives us what is your average large cap stock doing, right near highs, and looks like it's moving higher. So this is very much, and these are good markets to have where large cap tech is moving lower. You have other things that are pushing higher. The average large cap tech stock is doing fantastically, right? But the big guys are weighing down the market this time. So it's great. It's exactly what you want to see. It's all about where you look, right?
It's kind of the inverse of the narrow breadth Mag 7 only type rallies that we were getting a lot, in the past year or so. And I mean, to me, it indicates, breadth increasing. People are buying the broader market. I mean, that's never a bad thing. So it's seeing the catch up and even stuff like IWM or just laggards in general,
Yeah,
I think it's encouraging. I know my my value investors are happy, except for they're also long shipping. So,
Well, no, I love RSP as just an overall health, right? It's don't show me the SPY, which is going to be what is Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, right? The Mag 7 doing. Show me RSP, show me what the average large cap stock is doing, and that'll give me a better feel for what's happening in the market. In this case, the average large cap stock is up today pretty big, and on an intraday basis, it just hit a new daily high. And then you have the SPY, it's doing okay, it's in the middle of its range. Then you have the Qs, and the Qs are moving lower. So it's very much a pick your sector, right? Some sectors are going to be moving up, some sectors are going to be moving down. And that's
CLRO
totally okay.
setting up here above 13s, just for those penny stock traders. If they're watching for a trade, that's still setting up here above the 13s now. It did do the flush down liquidity move right before this, which is the 1150 flush down through the 11 and now back towards 13.
That's pretty clean. I have a big monthly level at 1192 there that seems to be flipping to support today. And it makes complete sense that it would take a while to digest through that. But the fact that it's over that and it's just being kept by VWAP for now, but keeps getting bought off of that, call it 1150 to $12 kind of range.
You have a setup there for sure.
Man, that's a big move pre-market to target up there. It's 18 to 20.
For now, this is the Qs. We got to see what happens. We undercut the pre-market low, like we always talk about, right? Search for some liquidity down there. Now we're rallying a bit. So the question is, was that just one of those liquidity sweeps that we see all the time and just gets reversed? And are we just going to go back into the range? Again, frustrating both sides as per usual. Or is this just a little relief bounce before it pushes lower, right?
Yeah, the only problem with thinking is if it's a liquidity move, though, is look at the 15-minute chart. That is an ugly candle, regardless if it's a liquidity grab. Because the problem is that it's a body that inflicts the whole price action of today. The body of that chart, of that candle in the last 15-minute, washed out the whole action of the morning since about 8:30. When I see that big of a candle, that shows me what? That shows me scared and panic selling, at least from the short-term traders.
Mentioned by TAC. Wow, look at that. Is that
a Chinese name?
No, that's home builders.
Look at the Qs. Another hit down there. Another hit down there in the Qs. VIX could start coming hot, guys. I'm looking at the VIX as an opportunity.
Well, just remember, VIX is on the S&P 500, so VIX won't move off the Qs. And the S&P 500 hasn't moved yet, unless your bet is that it's going to catch up. But yeah, with this chart, XHB, right? Home builders. When home builders do this, people ain't worried about the economy. They're taking some profits. It's a big cap tech names. Wow. What an insane. I don't know if I've ever seen something as boring as home builders do something as crazy as that. That's a wild price action. This is one of my favorite charts in the market. I'm actually looking for a close, which might happen today, above 100 to get involved here, because I love it when these things that look like tops end up not being a top. You get pretty awesome moves through there when the thing is not a top.
Absolutely.
And I again love these bifurcated markets where you have healthcare up huge, Johnson Johnson up 2%. A lot of these names, Amgen up 2%. We have TMO up 2%. Huge moves here, and then we just have again big cap tech is what's selling us. So anywhere else you are in the market, you're loving life, health services, healthcare, even financials are doing okay. Everywhere is doing great, and then you just got some rotation going on. And like my buddy, the founder of the CMT, Ralph Alcampora, always says, rotation is the lifeblood of a bull market. You got to take your profits from the things that are working. You got to apply those profits to things, to other parts of the market. You want to see that rotation through. And we've been seeing it, right? Again, financials hitting new all-time highs. Industrials hitting new all-time highs. Healthcare is looking amazing here. Nice, like look at this on an intraday chart. Right? If you want to know why the S&P 500 is outperforming the big cap tech, you can just see it here. This is healthcare. Yeah. So healthcare and home builders just ripping. Makes perfect sense that you're gonna have those areas of the market doing well. You're gonna have some areas doing poorly. Your SPY is going to do nothing, and your Qs are gonna sell just a little bit here.
Volume coming in here, guys. So let's see what happens. I'm seeing at least some volume starting to pile in there. They're trying to buy the dip. Let's see if they can actually turn it.
Look at Eli Lilly popping out of the space.
And I think you're completely right of looking at rotation. We've talked about the cyclicals doing well. We talked about defensives. Here you're bringing in healthcare. It's always going to be rotation. That's why we're also talking about how it's a pullback moment, but also we're looking for the pullback to buy some of these fast movers. So the fast movers have to pull back while what rotation happens underneath us. And that's why I always talk about looking at sectors and industries versus looking at a stock. But definitely stay with that. Right now, cyclicals kind of leading that action. Right behind it, communication services. That AT&T, is it still going up even though Trump made a bad mention?
Yep. Wow. I don't think I'd ever say this ever. AT&T just a monster. As soon as they got kind of tied in with the space game, 100% gain in what is probably the most boring stock on planet Earth in less than a year. That's crazy. And you're getting paid a fat dividend the whole time you're holding this thing that doubles.
Oh yeah.
Great.
And they've been executing tremendously from what I've heard on the fundamental side of things. They are really turning the ship around and doing what you can to double a stock off of a base. This was such an unloved sector for so many years. So to me, it's like banking in a lot of ways where
volume spike in the VXX, 28,000 shares went through.
You saw that monthly chart there, and there's room on that bad boy.
Gas pedals on, boys. Look at all the trades. Gas pedals on, boys.
LLY I love, by the way. I think that this setup is tremendous. If you can get it back over 800, it can rip majorly, and I'm talking like 1,000 plus.
Shoes going down there
by end of year.
Shoes coming down. Now the VIX starting to get the volume, right? And that's what I wanted to see as some people take bets. Look at that volume on the VXX. Look how it just changed, right? So I'm looking now for a spike there. I have it on the swing trade. Guys, we might be able to make the funded account right here. I'm going for it, guys. Let's go. QUBTS, another one that I'm on the swing side, short.
Keep in mind, this is an area of interest on Qs. We just filled the weekly gap, that new week gap open. Any ICT traders know that that's a pretty decent area of interest. Market does love to kind of retest those areas where it gapped up and left traders in the dust last week. So we'll see how many new buyers step in. I'm with you though. It looks heavy, and I'd love a pullback. I'm just wondering if we need the news catalyst of the trade pause end, or I'm sorry, the tariff pause end, that 90-day pause that's coming on the 8th. So maybe today's data was enough to kind of push us down. I personally would love a pullback here. I'm a little underinvested now that I sold Hood and a bit of my Zscaler and a few other of my large positions. So I'm looking for areas to redeploy into. So I'm gonna probably buy some nail. I'd like a little pullback there too, but I don't know if I get it.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, 3x leverage on home builders.
Holy smokes. Yeah, up 10% today.
Hell, baby.
Yep.
Wow.
That's also, I think what this is, guys, and this is also the outlook that changed today that was given in the macro space, which was the outlook of rate cuts coming in September versus December. Where did this come from? This came from Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs putting that out this morning. If you were reading the Sunrise report, you got it first this morning. Rate cut now likely in September. Goldman's economist David Mercel said that he expects the Fed first rate cut in September, moving up from December. Other deflationary forces looking stronger than expected. Tariff effects looking smaller. This aligns with the broader Wall Street view that the Fed is closer to a pivot, especially if economic data continues. So that would cause this type of move, right? If the rate cut is coming right in September, right? So.
Oh, wow. I have another chart for you guys. Cure, which is just the 3x healthcare. So, I mean, it's already on your radar. I know, Michael,
good look.
But,
I like them. You boys nerding out here for you guys. And also knowing when you see this type of move to go with the leverage, right? When you see this type of move, you can definitely jump and make juice, right? Make that juice.
Oh, man. And
yeah, as well you should, right? It's one of those that if you're buying home builders, right? Home builders, the reason we're so shocked, guys, if you're new to the market, healthcare and home builders don't generally move this crazy in this trend, which is obviously buy program, right? If you look at that chart, that's buy program. That is every downtick. I want more healthcare. I want more home builders. I want these names, which are great because these are kind of bedrock economy names. So these are the ones. That's why I joke all the time. I want a triple leveraged Pepsi ETF. I don't need a double leveraged HIMS ETF, right? Because HIMS has enough juice in and of itself. So that's why we love to see these triple leverage ETFs on what are these, boring sectors and industries, because that's where we want to go, right? We want to make sure that we have a place that we can kind of make it worth our while trading these names that are generally pretty boring from a day trading standpoint. From the swing trading, right? You buy Lilly, and if it gets to $1,000, you're super happy, right? It's like a 50% move from here. But
be careful here. Yeah, getting out of QBTS. I had that feeling like I could see it coming in there, and I think it's just going to try this 15 here. And so at my point, I'd rather get out. I'll look to get back in on the cut of 1480s.
I just really want to quickly mention Talks call out. He's long Brazil, Argentina, and South Korea. And man, the South Korea trade has been absolutely cooking for sure. I love LATAM trades, Latin American trades. I'm expressing that through NU for Brazil, get some fintech exposure there too. That trade's starting to work beautifully. But EWZ, the Brazilian ETF, just broke out beautifully yesterday. And so that's something I'm really interested in. It's back testing that kind of key resistance that now is starting to flip to support, and that's a big volume base too. So I'm a big EWZ bull. I love NU in particular, but I think he's right on the money. I'm learning not to fade this guy, so it's scaring me that he's short MSTR. But
MSTR is a good trade right now. I think it's a good trade to the short side. We've been seeing that rejection off the 9 EMA, and it's been a VWAP rejection fast. That's why it was weird to see CleanSpark at the top. Right. So this is where I was telling you Bitcoin was going higher, but MSCR was going down. But look at the turn in Bitcoin there. So watch for your sweeps right back in those names like Mara and CleanSpark as they're at the top. Hood, if it starts to drop fast, that's also the sign, right? Positive catalyst, yet the stock is now dropping, right? The current environment is changing right here. I see it. And it's up to you guys if you guys see it too, to make those types of calls. Look how Hood is now dropping through the pre-market low, and it's been a fast pace down.
And let's make sure we zoom out, right, with all of these charts and know that these are just ordinary healthy pullbacks, right? Robinhood went up. Robinhood is still up on the day, right? So it's important to look at these and say, yes, intraday, the market selling a little bit, to not get insanely excited just because, again, Hood is positive today, and the SPY hasn't even broken the prior day's low yet. So understand that these are pullbacks for now. What we need to look for next is see are we going to get these pullbacks bought, right? Are these things, are we just going to buy in here, or do we continue lower? The first thing we need to see is the SPY, for the first time in almost 2 weeks, break the low of a prior day's candle. And from there, does that start maybe a corrective phase? And again, corrective meaning, do we move sideways? Do we pull back? One of the two could make sense. But yes, still above yesterday's high on the SPY. A lot of these names, even though they're selling from the open, are still up a little bit from the close. So just to differentiate day trade versus kind of swing trade there.
Yeah, what I would be more careful of is like the nuclear trade, right? Because that has risen up now, and it's not just one candle down. It's a complete, I think, a bullish breakdown of the momentum here, especially in a lot of the names like SMR that were hanging out there. And people were looking at the short-term moving average. So now I'd be looking at long-term moving average pullbacks, or medium-term, like the 50 is right around the $30 spot. So SMR that I talked about, how it barely bounced back, how it was just a leak. It's been that leak all morning long. NNE all morning long. Look at the GEV now. We just talked about it when it was at 510. It just went another 10 points to the downside. So that's a pretty good move there for GEV. You're talking down 5%, close to 6% at the open. CEG is the one that and we'll be back after this message. Kind of trade on this one, guys. How did I lose on this, man? Oh my God. That's going to be a frustrating one, guys. That's going to be one that I'll review and be like, no bueno. But we'll see what happens here, guys. VIX starting to spike here. Let's go, VIX. VIX, get the spike. I got this on the swing account here. I'm going to step up to the plate in a second here to see if we really get this start to break down. What we want to see is the SPY go for the 616 back to the 615, at least for me. If that really starts to break the 615 is when we're really going to start to let go. I'm looking to see if we start to do that. That's hourly supports from yesterday. Do we start to approach those? Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit. I'm basically seeing the same thing as you are. I like this 16 handle. I think that one's pretty key for me. That's my hourly trigger that we're just puking to right now. So we'll see if there are any buyers off of this level. We are wicking up off it to the penny. So there's some buyers off my algo there, off my quantitative system. But
man, it's crazy the shorts out there today. If Tesla turns, let's see if Tesla goes red here. I was even thinking about it up here. But it was like the one stock in the green that I was like, well, Mitch, do you want to short? You're probably looking for relative weakness today, not relative strength. And Tesla was on that relative strength up here. But it did do this little bounce back and then flush down. So let's see it.
Yeah, we've got bringing up some good names there. One that we haven't talked about is NVD. So NVIDIA short. I think chips are overextended here, and I like that for a quick pullback.
Yeah, wow, look at the price AMD.
Ugly.
Yeah, nice. Even strong names like AMAT pulling back today, right? AVGO, you want to see that red too. You see, it's the rotations on. The key is, can they hold the SPY up with the rotation, right?
Wow.
And that's what we're looking at.
Well, I just took a quick look at RSP again and just printed a new intraday high, right? So your average large cap stock still going. So that probably means XHB still going well. Yeah, new intraday high on XHB. Just hasn't had, this is a crazy, hasn't had a downtick all day in home builders. And then XLV healthcare hasn't had a downtick all day either. So very much a pick your spot, right? If you're short in big cap tech, you're doing it wrong. If you're long home builders, if you're long, or you're doing it right. If you're long home builders, long healthcare, you're probably doing that right as well, right? It's very much some areas are selling a bit. Some areas are rallying. So pick your spot, right? Make sure you're sticking with the trends.
And maybe taking some cash, right? If you have it available to you, right? I've been up like all over on this pony. I've been up to 400, but just been sitting in it now. And it's really going to take the next market move to really cash in there. We'll see what happens, right? Like always, I do see the move in defensive. I mean, you see right on the screen, and that's continuing to push higher. So I'd continue to look at those types of names that are pushing. Walmart, one of those names, if you're looking for upside moves. Look at that VWAP bounce on Walmart today. Pretty. Coke, if you guys are talking Pepsi, I'd like Coke anytime over Pepsi. So Coke, look at that. Look at that candle on Coke today. Procter & Gamble, starting to move, guys. We are seeing a rotation to defensive names, and that might mean a slowing down for tech rally, at least for the time being. Look at the XLK, right? We're showing you guys trends here, which I think are more important than even just trades, guys.
Yeah, well, that's why it's really important to shout out the rotation, because there's some people who are just, they would look at this market and say, oh man, this market's bad. And then get confused why the RSP's up 0.5%, why the Dow's up 0.5%. And it's because they just focus on large cap tech and they think that makes up the market. Now that makes up the Qs and it makes up a little bit of the SPY. But it just goes to show you that, right, if you don't have a wide net, if you're not looking out there, you could miss that there's insane uptrends going on. There's people buying stock hand over fist. This might not be your stock, it might not be the sector that you're used to, right? It might be a home builder or a financial name or a healthcare name or something like that. So definitely make sure that you're not just looking at the Qs and saying, well, the Qs are down, that must mean the market's down, right? Always remember the Qs is a very narrowed in substack of what the overall market is. So you want to long the stuff that's going up, maybe short the stuff that's going down.
The
Get a
solar
nice little
names
pairs trade
look
going
like
on.
fun shorts. I'll tell you that much. Those are falling. Look at the cybersecurity falling off there. That's a blow off top right there, like classic blow off top on that CrowdStrike. AVGO, it gave you the graveyard doji.
Yeah. So you mentioned crowd there. I've been along Zscaler for just about forever, it feels like, since 2011. I've rung the register twice now. I have 1 quarter left. Do you think it's time to finally bail?
I think it's about where are you going to hold to the short-term moving average or the medium-term? The 50 is far.
Yeah, the 50 is too far. The
Maybe
20 is my level. It lines up with the 300 level. That's kind of my last resort if it closes under there on a weekly.
That's it. So I think that's what you do when you get so far away, right? If you're trying to ride the wave, don't cut the wave too short because one of the waves was not the right wave in the swell. And you missed that one. But guess what? There's more waves coming. So I'm still in the overall bullish, but I do like to ride on these momentum breakdowns because this is what we mean by elevator moves down and stair steps up. How many days have we had very small action in the market? And now we're starting to get a range expansion. Volatility is increasing here. So this is when I feel like, all right, this is the time to maybe hit the gas pedal a little bit more. And I'm trying that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I would, and Hack I think is a good guide for your ZS, right? Okay. Instead of looking at the Qs or the S&P 500, right? The Hack is just showing you we're at all-time highs. We just pull back to crazy lows not seen since Friday, right? So this little pullback, it could pull all the way back into this kind of 82 area on Hack, and that's just a healthy move. It's just another retest of this kind of breakout zone. So I would look at that. And same with the SPY, right? You got to remember, we are still inside yesterday's range on the largest, most important ETF in the world. So I wouldn't get too crazy with it yet, but just know, right, we have to at some point pull back. Like we can't just continue to make higher lows till the end of time. Qs have finally broke a prior day's low after 7 days up in a row. Could go all the way to 541 and just be back testing this range. So just know. And then again, that exercise we did before the pre-market of going through and taking a look at all of the prior bear markets that when the all-time high broke, it was never easy. It was always chop. So it's just the question you got to ask yourself is how much chop can you withstand? Or is it something that you just want to kind of take it and say, hey, we'll probably pull back here at some point, and then maybe buy back in if you end up liking the name?
Absolutely. And one last thing on cybersecurity here. I noticed on Zscaler, we're getting some Bollinger Band tightening, and that's occurring after a major move up. So to me, I'm 1 foot out the door here and on this. I don't love the pattern of this just grind up in the past couple weeks. So I'll keep an eye on those moving averages and see how it plays out. But it's been a heck of a trade. I don't want to overstay my welcome.
Getting a real start to cut down again in Grail, so that's looking really good for me. Bull's been hanging on if you're looking for one that's trying to hang on, but looking good now in these trades. Also seeing the quantum names starting to flush right back down, so that QUBTS could get a hit now back below the 15s. It did go above 15. That's what I was worried about. I cut it. I said I could get back in on the 1480s cut. We're looking like we're going for that cut right now. I added on the VIX trade, so I'm probably just going to stay on the VIX trade. But I'm just watching that really closely here and now looking for some continuation. Look at Pony go. Let's go, let's go, Pony. Let's go.
Yeah, I think with that, what was it? There was some Chinese stock that went from like $50 to 0 in a couple days. So I think that the whole China space might be a little bit. They might be a little bit nervous of just everything going on there in the market. So just be a little bit careful there.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm cautiously optimistic about China, but I like bigger names. The smaller ones are too gambly for me. So
and that's what like that. Yeah, that Pony just seemed like crazy.
Yeah. And it seemed like it was sell the news. I forget exactly what the news was, but there was some, I don't know, something on the table for Pony, and it's the kind of stock that like the toxic traits of me wants to long, but I just don't think it's ready yet. It rejected the 50 fib of the major move up. Now it's got curling moving averages pushing it down after a failed breakout attempt last week. I think this one is a nothing for me, honestly. I can't touch it long. I can't touch it short. It does look like it's pushing away from a major volume shelf. So probably a short unless it can reclaim 14 and you can target that 10 handle.
Yeah, we're getting some action back into the market here, guys. Just be careful out there. Seeing some rebounding action coming in.
Trying to figure out the what that stock was, just to show you guys. It was insane. I saw a couple of my buddies trading it. Just literally in a minute went from being like $50 stock down to like 0.
Wow. Can you imagine being in that?
Yes.
Can you imagine, guys? I'm hanging out, guys. I'm hanging out. I'm taking a shot today. Like I told you guys, I'll take the shot and see how it plays out. The big thing for me is looking also for opportunities out there. And you guys get into the small cap space. There's some opportunities out there. There's, of course, that CLRO, but it did do a kind of a wipe out there on the 15-minute candle and halted on the downside. So it got the breakout and someone sold into it big because it ran into some hard selling on this bad boy. And where was that hard selling? All at the resistance. It keeps showing up at the 15s on CLRO. Big move right back down. And now in the down hole could open up actually below 12. So watch out. I'm taking my shots, guys, man. It's hard to hold here, guys. It's hard to hold because I'm back to break even overall. But we'll see what happens. I'm putting you up, man. What you got?
Yeah. So this OST wasn't $50. It was 11. And you can see if you go into like the intraday chart, so it intraday halts at 9 and then reopens at $1 and then quickly falls to 50 cents. So, and it happened at like the end of the day too, when no one was paying attention. Now it's 14 cents, just a complete, I guess, scam. Like it's just the company doesn't really exist or do anything. For that to happen. And yeah, just so that kind of thing might make some Chinese ADR investors just a little nervous that they're like, oh yeah, this kind of thing can happen, especially if you're in a lot of these, more speculative type names. So you
all
gotta
right, guys,
be careful.
all three names in the day trade into the green. Now we're going to go break even stop because it's all about momentum here. And so it's more, if it keeps going, I'm going to have myself a killer day. I'm trying to get this to keep going. Grail is the best one so far. That's almost up 500. If it breaks this like 48.80s low, we'll keep it going. It's been a hell of a day, guys. It's almost 11 here. So if you boys want to start wrapping up on your action, let us know. Just got the UMAC fill. I got that back to green. And I said, you know what? Just get out of that name, Mitch. It could break down. There's the SPY. There's the action that we're looking for. Be careful out there. But I'm looking good in the swing trade too. Feeling like stepping up here a little bit in some other trades. Maybe QUBTS again on the swing side of things. But what are you guys looking at out there?
I'm looking at Michael just getting cooked, not cooked, but like the market's dropping and BMNR just will not die.
I'm bringing it up, watching it now. Like, this is crazy. I also found another issue with the bug that I have to correct, where it will enter every time there's a blue arrow. So it's been just shorting 4 shares at a time every time. Again, this is why it's beautiful what we do over at Trade the Pool, because I spent $100 on this account. If this just completely blows up while I'm testing the bot, oh well, right? And obviously not what we want, right? Not what we're going to do on purpose, but we're testing, right? We're testing and we're building. But yeah, this BMRN just not participating at all in this down move, and it's been trying. So other than that, things have been going well. It's a down day. I'm down like $100 or so realized, but just getting closer, right? And that's how I'm going to judge, the performance of these systems is, right? Is every day I'm improving it to get to where it is. Obviously, I just want to, if I'm in a position, have it not take another position on top of that. So that's 2 things. We got to figure out putting the stop loss and profit targets in, and then we need to figure out how to make it so it only does 1 trade a day. Maybe I guess I could manually delete and replace the alert, but yeah, more work to do, which is fun, because you guys will notice this is very front heavy work. I've been working very hard on this particular bot throughout the weekend and throughout the week here as well. But when it's done, it's just going to be adding more strategies over time.
All right, we'll see what happens out there, guys. Crazy day today in the markets, up and down. SPY still hanging out towards the low end of the day's range. We'll see if it breaks down. And this looks like a head and shoulders on the 1 minute. So I don't know if you guys like 1 minute patterns, but holy moly, that looks like a head and shoulders to me. Look at this one. We'll show you the guacamole head and shoulders right now. Look at that head and shoulders.
Yes, and make sure, kind of last comment, make sure you're zooming out.
Neckline, right?
Don't get too crazy. We still haven't broken our pre-market low today, so don't think we're overdone to the downside and we need to bounce.
1 hour needs a break still, right?
Yeah, we're still inside yesterday's range, right? So make sure you're trading accordingly. It could just be a chop fest kind of all day, unless you're big cap tech. Seems like that's fallen out of bed.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it's important also to take some cash into these moves if you're getting some great gains, right? Hey, cash it when you can. We'll see you guys back tomorrow, guys. Smash the like if you guys enjoyed the action, and do us the favor. We're trying to get some more traders in here. One of the number 1 ways you can do it is share the stream every single morning. All you do is just hit the X link down below, share us, tell us a stock maybe that you're watching, and we'll make sure to make a mention during the show. See you guys next time. Thank you. Like always, Trade the Pool, Money Mitch, Michael Nas, Steve. We'll see you guys back. And of course, don't miss Steve's next webinar, always on Fridays now, right?
Wednesday this week because of the
Wednesday
short week.
This week. So don't miss that, guys. Don't miss that. Short week this week, guys. Let's enjoy the trading. We'll see you next time.